Why did Parsons once give up acting, and what made him change his mind?
This is insane. I'm going to go back and get my business degree or do something that a sane person would do.
What was really behind his decision to leave The Big Bang Theory? And why did the sight of pride parades once frighten Jim? Hi, I'm Dylan, and you're watching OSSA. Let's get you some answers. Before Sheldon.
My fear of being a bitter old man is what led me into the college theater.
This will sound crazy, but there was a time pre-Big Bang when Jim dropped acting for a year. Even though the young Parsons performed in school plays and theater all through 1st to 12th grade, when it came to starting his career.
And then I thought, this is a really stupid career idea and way too risky, and I tried to give it up.
Thank goodness he came to his senses soon enough. As he watched his actor friends rehearsing for plays, he realized he had to get back to it, for his own happiness. Luckily for him, his then boyfriend, since turned husband, Todd, also convinced Jim to move to LA to pursue his acting career. Parsons went on to get a master's degree in classical theater and had lofty dreams. However, his road to success wasn't an easy one. He auditioned for up to 30 different roles, but every time he got the part, the show was turned down by the TV network. This might have crushed less resilient actors, but not our Parsons. His approach to all the failures to launch? That's the way it goes. I tested for several roles and just didn't get them. That's why I had to prepare for the role of Sheldon, because I felt this was probably the one that was going to fit. Just before we get to his exciting Big Bang audition, hear this. The actor himself revealed that he could have been in, wait for it, The Office. More specifically, NBC's recreation of the UK hit. However, the audition went south. Although he didn't mention for which character he auditioned, he did open up about his early reservations about the show's main premise. I was like, how stupid, it's about an office. If America wanted their own office show, they would have already made it by now. Well, the man can't be good at everything, okay? Let's just say he might be best off leaving predictions to the experts. Still, if it wasn't for his lackluster The Office audition, his path never might have crossed with another 12-season hit series. The Colossal Bang. That would change his life forever.
If I told my younger self that I would be doing a career retrospective, he would not have known what to make of that, because what career and what are you talking about?
Even though the Sheldon actor is a household name, he stayed humble and amazed at his own success. Recalling his audition for the role of the geek genius, Parsons remembers reading the script and immediately thinking, this is important. I felt something special. This conviction also led him to decline an invite to a party the night before the audition. Instead, he stayed home and worked on his lines. Now that's true commitment right there. It couldn't have been easy, considering that, to this day, Jim still feels nervous before shooting or going on stage. Yeah, he's admitted to still being terrified of forgetting his lines, and often being the most nervous actor in a crew. Well, maybe the nerves were a blessing in disguise when he was gunning for the role of Sheldon. After auditioning, he left just knowing it had gone well. And of course it had.
It was astonishing. I didn't even believe it when it happened. I never anticipated the character being the way he crafted it.
But this time, something was a bit off. Normally, when he'd gotten a part, his phone would ring immediately after the audition. This time, it took hours. It turns out producer Chuck Lorre thought Jim was so brilliant in his first audition that it must have been just luck.
I said to Chuck, that's the guy. And Chuck said, he's going to break your heart. He's never going to give you that performance again.
To make sure that they were casting the perfect actor, Lorre invited Jim for a second reading and found out that beginner's luck certainly does not apply to Parsons.
So, when that happens, you say, thank you, God, book him and move on.
Hard as this may be to believe, it's possible that Jim Parsons is not like Sheldon at all in real life. Before the Big Bang, the actor wasn't into the geek universe at all, and still isn't.
I mean, I don't know any more about science, and I'm still not into graphic novels, and I don't watch Star Trek, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things.
Instead, his favorite TV shows when growing up were Three's Company, Family Ties, and The Cosby Show. To add to that, Parsons even failed science at school. He ascribes his failure to the wrong reason for taking it in the first place. He wanted to be a meteorologist due to living in a hurricane zone, but he actually only liked the drama of it all, not the science part. Go figure. The end of an era. When CBS announced that the sitcom's 12th season would be its last, fans were caught off guard. The show was still a raging hit, and they weren't ready to stop tuning in. However, it's important to remember that behind any show, there are real humans with real lives, and it's no different for Jim Parsons. In his case, it was a buildup of more than one event that finally forced him to make the tough decision to leave, and in effect, end the show. Firstly, it's not hard to understand that 12 years are a pretty long stretch for any actor to play the same character day in, day out. At the time Lorre ended the show, Parsons was 46 years old. At that stage in his life, he realized his own father had passed away at the age of 52. Naturally, this forced him to reflect. I had this moment of clarity, of going, don't keep speeding by. And this is what I said to Chuck Lorre and Steve Malaro. If you told me that, like my father, I had 6 years left to live, I think there's other things I need to try and do. As if the universe was reaffirming his decision to end his era as Sheldon, one of his dogs was nearing the end of his life. Both Todd and Jim feared their best friend would die while he was at work, so they had to make the difficult decision to put him to sleep at their home. To top it off, only a few days later, Parsons injured himself on stage. It was the scariest moment for the next couple of days because I felt like I was at the edge of a cliff, and I saw something really dark below the death of the dog. About his career post-Big Bang, it's obvious Parsons made the right choice to move on.
I feel like I'm in a place in my career that feels young again in a weird way.
Just 1 year since the series finale ended, he's filmed and executive produced a main role on Ryan Murphy's series, Hollywood. On top of that, he stars in the musical adaptation, The Boys and the Band. Of course, it would be a travesty if I didn't mention his directorial debut in Young Sheldon. This directorial achievement is all the more impressive for knowing that.
I'm really an in front of the camera cat, as it were. I don't really crawl much well and don't do well behind the... Anyway.
Even before Jim's journey as adult Sheldon ended, doors started opening for him. As things would have it, he and his art director husband began talking about basing a show around his real-life nephew, who was intelligent and charmingly different, as Jim puts it. It wasn't long before the two realized it sounds a lot like a young Sheldon. Not having high expectations, Parsons sent the idea to Lorre, and you know the rest of the story. Postponing the inevitable. It's no secret that Jim is a gay man, nor should it be. He's been with Todd Spiewak for going on 20 years. However, Parsons only took the leap and came out after 10 years of dating.
My meeting my husband was really the reason I had the big coming out with my family. He was too important to me to not let my family meet.
Making sure it was clear he meant no offense to any of the lovely men he dated before Todd, Jim revealed that he immediately knew Todd was the one. What were the very real fears behind his delay in coming out? For one, since he made the big revelation just days after the Big Bang Season 5 finale aired, he was scared it would negatively impact his performance on the show. Did it? Oh, on the contrary, it actually helped him become a better actor. To suddenly be part of a large group that still is maligned at times with hateful things being said about them by other public figures, there was a sense of strength for me that I couldn't have predicted. As soon as it became a story, it made me feel strong, and in this day and age, it only helped career-wise. That's awesome! On to another unexpected fact. At one stage of his life, the sight of pride parades terrified Jim. The actor has opened up about his difficult youth while growing up in Houston, with the fear of being discovered as gay looming every day. The sight of pride parades frightened me, because I knew there were plenty of people around me, whether they were in my life or I was just aware of them, that derided this show of pride. This deep-seated fear continued to plague him long into adulthood, even after he'd moved to New York City. It was so bad he tried to brush that part of his life under the carpet by simply avoiding gay-friendly neighborhoods. Thank goodness that today the actor embraces his sexuality wholeheartedly. He and Todd got married 3 years ago. But even before that, the couple was honored for being an inspirational gay couple at a prestigious Respect Awards ceremony in California. Now that makes us happy! As we've come to expect, Parsons was humble as ever about the accolade. I've never considered my relationship with Todd to be an act of activism. Rather simply, it's an act of love, coffee in the morning, going to work, washing the clothes, taking the dogs out, a regular life, a boring love. Thanks for watching. Have you seen Jim in Boys in the Band? Let us know in the comments. And remember to stay awesome!